What is up, everybody? What's up? What's up? What's up? We are live early right now. I know. It is 9:24 Rio time. It's about 8:24 Eastern time. We got a great show this morning. Sorry I didn't get a chance to stream. I was going to stream yesterday actually, but daddy duties, man. He was not having it. And long day yesterday, but we back on the saddle. We back on the saddle. We got lots to talk about. In fact, we have so much stuff to talk about that if Baby Logicist allows me to, I will actually be streaming later on this afternoon as well, around 3 or 4 p.m. Or 2 or 3 p.m. Eastern time. So got a great show. We're going to do a couple of shout outs, and then we're going to get this show on the road. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. LOL Lemonade, RIP Rafat Alarir. What's going on? We're live right now, by the way, on YouTube, Rockfin, and Rumble. No, excuse me, I lied. YouTube, Rockfin, and Twitter. We're not on Rumble right now. I didn't have enough time to set it up. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Rumble's been working great. Last couple of times we tried though. Thank God, because that was a task. What the hell? What the hell's going on with Israel, y'all? They've lost their minds. There's no way. There's no way that the West is approving of Israel's irrational behavior. Like, there's no way. There's no way. We're gonna talk about it, but they on some shit, y'all. I don't know how else to describe it. They're on some shit. Netanyahu gets a hernia and decides to approve basically an assassination in the middle of his surgery. Like, what the hell? Well, woke up and said, you know what? I'm gonna just kill some innocent people today. That's Netanyahu. Then we got once again Netanyahu. You know what? I think I might bomb a general today. Surgery didn't go as well as I like. I'm gonna bomb a general in an Iranian embassy in Syria. Jesus Christ, bro. And what pisses me off more than all of it is the gaslighting. It's the gaslighting in the responses from Israel, from the US, people on Twitter, all of it. It's insane to me. But once again, we don't get into it. Make sure we're good. YouTube people, y'all hear me? Great stuff. I think Twitter can hear me. Great stuff. I think we in business, y'all. I think we are in business. Y'all make sure y'all like this post, share this video. Oh, my bad, Telegram people. That's what I forgot to do. I forgot to share this to Telegram. Y'all don't be mad at me, Telegram. I'm coming. I'm sharing right now. Dave Murray, what's going on? RIP WCK staff, absolutely. Shout out to my Twitter people right now. We got more people watching on Twitter than on YouTube. That's crazy. That's not that crazy, but it's kind of crazy. Don't worry about it. Get started. I just gotta let my Telegram people know we live, baby. I miss my early morning peeps, man. Y'all know that was my I love doing early morning stuff. It's just hard, when you got a baby. Plus, I got other responsibilities in the morning that I have to take care of before I do my YouTube channel. So that's what also makes it difficult. But we're going to figure it out. Perhaps, just maybe, I might start doing morning stuff again. I got a whole different audience in the morning. All right, people. I think we're good to go. Once again, make sure you like this video. Like, share, retweet. All that good stuff. All right. That being said, people, we're going to go ahead and get this show on the road. Thank you all so much for tuning into this live stream podcast of For the People podcast. And I am, of course, your humble host, Niko House. We have a great show today, a sad one, a lot of death involved, some World War III potential problems. Once again, all caused by Israel. this whole week has been today, and Israel decides to do some dumb, evil shit to piss off half of the world. That's basically been the headline of the week. They have not let up. They've been unrelenting in their I don't know if you want to call it imperial behavior, but it's, for me, it's like watching a desperate pit bull who's terrified for its life trying to defend itself right as it's about to be caught. They're just flailing and doing whatever to whoever. And the ultimate goals, once again, are more nefarious, seemingly, than the act in the moment. That's what's even crazier about what Israel has been doing, engaging in lately. So first thing we're going to talk about is the World Central Kitchen thing. Tragic, 7 deaths. Volunteers, not even all. Some of them were Palestinian. They had Palestinian dual citizenship, but not all of them were Palestinian. I think there was an Australian, one from Poland, one from the UK, one from Canada. So it wasn't even just Palestinians who were killed. That's what makes the lack of response to what happened even more insane. So in case y'all don't know, which most of you all should by now, I am a contributor for Hotspot Media. I did a quick video that we're gonna watch really quick before we get into the nitty gritty of it all. Please, if you can, if you have not yet, go to Twitter, retweet my Hotspot video so everybody can see it. And we're gonna go ahead and pull this. Whoop. Think everybody can see me, everybody can hear. Cool. Israel just killed 7 members of the World Central Kitchen that were delivering aid to Gaza in missile strikes that they claimed were unintentional. Now, the World Central Kitchen is a neutral nonprofit that goes to front lines and provides fresh meals. And so far, they've provided over 350 million meals to people who need it all around the world. And of course, the company was with a certain sense of urgency because right now it's Ramadan and they're trying their hardest to get these meals to the Palestinians in Gaza who've been fasting all day and are trying to celebrate their holiday. Now, of course, the sad truth is we're actually used to Israel killing civilians, bombing volunteers, bombing journalists, whoever. But this particular case is truly disturbing. Before we even get into the particulars about what happened, let's talk about the fact that the Mossad tried to blame Hamas out the gate for what took place. They tried to say it appears that they were killed by a bomb planted on the side of the road by Hamas. For real, bro? And hell, maybe if this was a bomb that accidentally exploded that Israel planted on the side of the road, not knowing what route they were taking, this wouldn't be so bad. But it's actually much more nefarious. Like I said in the beginning, Netanyahu said that they didn't really mean to kill all those volunteer workers, but that's bullshit. According to Haaretz, a Israeli news publication, they knew that those cars were marked. They knew the organization that those cars belonged to. They knew that those workers were volunteers. They only even looked into what was happening because there was supposedly one armed man that they believed was a terrorist. Oh, but it gets better because before the WCK decided to leave on their approved route, a safety route approved by Israel, the armed man left the vehicle and never left the warehouse. In other words, none of those vehicles had the man that initiated the suspicions of Israel. And even though they knew that armed man was not with the volunteers on that route that Israel approved, they shot a missile and hit them anyway. Oh, but when the first missile didn't destroy all 3 of the vehicles, and then the people who managed to escape the first missile strike switched vehicles, they shot another one. Oh, but when that didn't do the job, even though that armed man still isn't there and they're still on the approved route, they went ahead and shot another one just in case. And I need y'all to understand this wasn't about killing a few workers who were intent on helping get aid and food to Gaza. This was actually about preventing tons of aid from getting to Gaza. Because After this strike, all the boats turned around and the WCK had to cancel all operations in Gaza. 240 tons of aid will no longer be reaching the mouths that need it. But sure, let's let Netanyahu lie to our fucking faces again and pretend like this wasn't intentional and that wasn't his goal. These people are fucking evil, bro. And they really deserve everything that they got coming to them. Like I said, y'all make sure to go ahead and retweet that. Go ahead and share that video. So yeah, the situation in its entirety, I don't know how to describe it. It's fucked. It's fucked on its face, right? 7 innocent people die because they were trying to help out Gazans during Ramadan. And it's a organization that has historically always been on the front lines, have always helped during times of crises, and have never had to deal with this, right? They've never had to deal with a government or occupying force trying to kill them for delivering food, right? The initial response, as always, was the Mossad trying to blame Hamas, the IDF trying to blame Hamas. They literally say, oh man, there was a bomb planted. But as I said in the video, and as I'll show you here, how are you going to say that there was a bomb plan that y'all didn't know about by Hamas when y'all approved? Israel pre-approved the route, y'all. They pre-approved the route. That's probably, to be completely honest, how the drone operator knew where to launch the strikes. So in other words, that's ridiculous on its face that y'all actually believe that there was a bomb. Like they did, of course. But this is the pattern with Israel. Remember Al-Shifa Hospital, right? What did they remember whenever Al-Shifa Hospital was initially attacked? They came out immediately trying to justify why they attacked Al-Shifa Hospital. But then because they don't communicate before they get on the internet and specifically get on Twitter and just lie. Like none of these accounts, like they're coordinated, but it's the sloppiest coordination I've ever seen whenever a major event happens that implicates them. Because they'll come out and claim credit for something and then minutes later be like, what are you talking about? We didn't do that shit. What are you talking about? We never did that. We never said that. They did it again. The Mossad and the IDF came out and said it was Hamas. But then what ultimately ends up happening is that they have to come out and be like, oh, no, it actually was us. But here's how we had a reason for it. But also simultaneously, even though we're going to give you every reason that we can to try to justify what we did, we also didn't mean to do it. That's what Netanyahu said. So I'm going to read you all this thread from Haaretz. And y'all let me know if they meant to do it. Y'all let me know. Let's go ahead and check it out. Where am I? There we go. So y'all let me know. This is the thread from Haaretz. For those of you who don't know, Haaretz is literally an Israeli publication who admittedly since this situation started, every now and then they'll come out and do some objective reporting, free from bias, just reporting what for example, what hostages said, what the IDF has said verbatim, without any spin whatsoever, which is kind of surprising because you don't really see that anymore, but especially from Israel. But they like once in a blue moon, they'll let you figure out the truth by allowing you to just read primary sources or read primary sourced comments. So let's go ahead and check out this thread. An Israeli drone fired 3 missiles, one after the other, at a World Central Kitchen convoy escorting an aid truck to a food warehouse in Deir al-Bala, according to defense sources familiar with the details. Okay. According to defense sources, the cars were clearly marked as belonging to the organization, but the war room of the unit responsible for securing the route identified an armed man on the truck and suspected that he was a terrorist. Okay. Now, how do they suspect that he was a terrorist? I do not know. I don't know. Because given the situation, given how the IDF has attacked people in the past, attacked volunteers in the past, people who are just trying to deliver aid, or people who are covering stories, media, medical personnel, it would actually make a ton of sense that they would have some type of security because of shit like this. This is exactly why. But whatever. They don't tell you why they think it's a terrorist. They're just like, yep, he's brown, he has a gun, he must be a terrorist. It says that the truck, this is the important part, the truck reached the warehouse with the World Central Kitchen's 3 cars with 7 volunteers in them. 2 dual national Palestinians, US and Canada, and 5 citizens of Australia, the UK, and Poland. Once again, neither of these countries, by the way, have come out and said they're going to take any action against Israel for what they did. So that's important to remember too. A few minutes later, the 3 cars left the warehouse without the truck on which the ostensibly armed man was located. According to defense sources, that armed man did not leave the warehouse. So you guys are understanding what's happening right now. So in other words, the man that initiated the suspicions of Israel that caused them to perceive the convoy as being potentially violent, he wasn't even on the route. He stayed behind at the warehouse. He was not in any of the vehicles that Israel attacked. And they knew that because they're telling you a few Haaretz, not Niko house, people who are part of the decision-making process to bomb these people are telling you. A few minutes later, 3 cars left the warehouse without the truck on which the ostensibly armed man was located. He didn't even get in the car. So in other words, the guy they were supposed to get, they didn't even get. The guy they were supposed to get. The excuse that they used, right? At some point, when the convoy was driving along the approved route, once again, the approved route, approved by who? Approved by Israel. In other words, they weren't going off the beaten path. They weren't sneaking around. They weren't trying to deliver aid to some quote unquote Hamas sleeper cell somewhere. It was a route that was pre-approved by Israel. Once again, more proof that it wasn't accidental, that it wasn't unintentional. It says that the war room of the unit responsible for the security of the route ordered the drone operators to attack one of the cars with a missile. Y'all notice something that's missing here? They don't give a single goddamn reason. They don't provide a single reason as to why the unit responsible for security ordered the drone operators to attack. They don't give a single reason. Because as I just told you, they left the man with whatever firearm that he had back at the warehouse. Some of the passengers were seen leaving the car after it was hit and switching to one of the other 2. They continued to drive and even notified the people responsible that they were attacked. But seconds later, another missile hit their car. So not only was the man not with them, okay, not only did that route that they were on after the man left the car, the armed man left the car, not only did that route was they on approved. It was a pre-approved route by Israel. After the first missile hit, they were smart. They called whoever's responsible. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, they had the contact information of those who were responsible, and those who were responsible, conversely and presumably, had the contact information of the people they attacked. So whatever questions, whatever suspicions they might have had, whatever worries they might have had, could have been addressed with a fucking phone call. It could have been addressed with a phone call, people. So when one missile didn't work, they hit him with another one. The third car in the convoy was approached. The passengers began to transfer to the wounded, the passengers began to transfer to it the wounded who had survived the second strike in order to get them out of danger. But then somebody at that unit pressed ignore on the phone call and decided to launch a third missile strike. This sound unintentional, y'all? Did this sound at all unintentional? If it does, bruh. If it does, you must be a Zionist. I don't know what to tell you. It's frustrating. One of the defense sources told Haaretz, we're trying our hardest to accurately hit terrorists and utilizing every thread of intelligence. Hold up, what? Y'all, they were utilizing y'all utilized every fucking thread of intelligence to attack 7 innocent people. That's what y'all did. Because you didn't even have to utilize every thread of intelligence in this particular case, right? Or, well, y'all did, because that's how y'all knew there was at least one armed man at some point, but you also know he left the car. So, but my point is, y'all didn't even have to use every thread of intelligence. Y'all could just answer the motherfucking phone. Y'all could just answer the phone, y'all. They could have just answered the phone. They didn't have to do much. If they wanted to, y'all knew the cars were marked. Y'all knew the route was approved. Y'all knew the route was approved, which is probably how you knew where they were. You knew that they was fucking volunteers. And clearly, which makes sense that it makes sense that the volunteers had the contact information of the unit responsible because the route had to be pre-approved, which means, once again, conversely, those who were responsible had the contact information of the volunteers. And this is why I say it's fucking gaslighting. Because, first of all, y'all claimed it was Hamas. They had to throw that shit out the window real quick, as usual. It's always Hamas until it's not. And it goes from that to our bad, it was unintentional. In what world? Can anyone provide me a single shred of evidence that this is unintentional? You have to be a goddamn imbecile. You have had to have completely lost your ever-loving motherfucking mind to think that this was unintentional. Since when? Guys, this is the same Israel that attacks journalists. Not just journalists. This is the same Israel that attacks and bombs the families of journalists, that goes out of their way to attack families of journalists. Goes out of their way to bomb not one hospital, not 2 hospitals, but 3 hospitals in a single weekend. This same Israel that bulldozes houses with kids inside. The same Israel, y'all, that I just watched a video about a week ago. A guy was crawling on the ground, armless, defenseless. Bop! The same Israel that created a whole plan to move all Palestinians from Gaza to Egypt. This same Israel. And they're like, nah, man, our bad. It was unintentional. And some people might think, oh, man, this is just because they do that, right? They do try to punish people for trying to assist Gaza. But it's actually worse than that. It is actually worse than that. There were, you know what? We're going to watch the video. We're going to watch the video because, like I said, it is worse. It's more nefarious. It gets worse and worse and worse.
Aid workers in the Gaza Strip with World Central Kitchen, the charity. We're now hearing from Cyprus that the aid ships that have been traveling from Cyprus into Gaza, of course, this was a big development for those in Gaza that the aid was able to come in that way. Aid ships are now being turned around, still carrying aid. 240 tons of undelivered aid is now heading back to Cyprus because of this attack on a car, killing 7 aid workers, because the charity obviously unloading the ship and distributing that aid in Gaza. World Central Kitchen, one of those charities involved, has now suspended its operations because of this apparent Israeli airstrike. We'll bring you more. This is about the...
Yeah, that's right. Because it is not like it was already unsafe. They knew that they were going into a war zone. They're generally accustomed to it not being safe. But I'm sure if there is an incident, it is in fact an incident or an accident, it is collateral damage, if you will. This wasn't that. This was, oh, you're delivering aid. Oh, this same organization has tons more aid coming. And the same organization is internationally recognized, right? Once again, this is an organization that has delivered 350 million meals since it was started, I believe, 2009? Don't quote me on that. I think it was 2009. But 350 million meals is a lot. They attacked and killed 7 people, knowing that the organization would no longer deem it to be safe. And now 240, do y'all know how big 240 tons of food is? Let me try to do some math real quick. I'm gonna math this out for y'all.
killing of 7
Don't quote me on
in
it,
the Gaza
but I'm
Strip.
pretty sure my math isn't the strongest. But so that would be about 18 dump trucks full of food. That's about 270 tons. About 18 dump trucks full of food. Oh, excuse me, 244. So it'll be about 17, 16 and a half dump trucks full of food. Big ass dump trucks full of food. Bruh. And now, to be completely honest, we have no idea where the food is going to go. And by the way, other aid organizations that were also in the process of sending food have also suspended all operations in Gaza. So are we still pulling? We still believe this was unintentional? Y'all know John Kirby. Matter of fact, we're just gonna pull the video because I can't even sound as stupid as John Kirby sounds, even if I'm trying to. Like, I just can't quite put into context the level of stupidity from this man. So I'm gonna find a video. You know, John, that boy's a glutton for punishment. I don't know why I don't know if y'all could pay me to sit up front of this administration and just say dumb shit every single day. Eventually, that shit, it's got to eat at your soul eventually, right? Maybe not in the case of John Kirby, though. We're going to find out.
Point of conditions, the President on February 8th issued a memo, and it said, and you already know this, but just for context, it said that it was the policy of his administration to prevent arms transfers that risk facilitating or otherwise contributing to violations of human rights or international humanitarian law. Is firing a missile at people delivering food and killing them not a violation of international humanitarian law?
Well, the Israelis have already admitted that this was a mistake that they made. They're doing an investigation. They'll get to the bottom of this. Let's not get ahead of that. Your question presumes at this very early hour that it was a deliberate strike, that they knew exactly what they were hitting, that they were hitting aid workers and did it on purpose. And there's no evidence of that.
How is there no evidence of that? Did y'all remember this thread I just read to y'all? The thread. They're like, oh, we got to conduct an investigation. We're waiting on an investigation. Y'all telling me the U.S. government, y'all telling me, better yet, you're telling me a journalist at Haaretz was able to conduct an investigation more thoroughly and more quickly than the U.S. government, who is giving Israel this military equipment that they're using to attack civilians. Really? There's no evidence of that. What about the part where they say, yeah, man, we were actually trying to attack this armed man, and we also knew that the armed man wasn't actually there, and we knew that there was only one. Yeah, and we knew that that was their route. Yeah, and we knew that their route was pre-approved. Because we approved it. We had their contact information too. Didn't call them, and when they called us, we didn't answer. But there's absolutely no evidence that this attack was intentional. Why? Because Netanyahu said so. And we can't make a move without pulling his dick 3 times. So that's how it goes. Come on, bro.
I would also remind you, sir, that we continue to look at incidents as they occur. The State Department has a process in place. And to date, as you and I are speaking, they have not found any incidents where the Israelis have violated international humanitarian law. Unless you
They literally conducted a raid on a hospital complex. Like they just finished it. That was the second time, by the way. It was also a violation of international law the first time. And for those people who keep trying to assert, oh, well, there may have been some Hamas people there. Well, no, that's not what actually happened. What happened was a bunch of refugees went back, because this is what is, like, Palestinians are known for doing this. It don't matter if you destroy their homes. It doesn't matter if you destroy their facilities. It doesn't matter if you destroy their institutions. They go back to rebuild. This is what they're known for doing. Especially when they need a place that's safe. Safe-ish. To house other refugees, children, people who've lost families, et cetera, et cetera. So they went back. Israel conducted a raid out of nowhere. And then some Hamas people showed up eventually, or at least people tried to start fighting back, is what we're told. I don't believe that. No, it was a massacre, actually. They went back to massacre a bunch of refugees. That's what actually happened, which is a violation of international law. It was also, because they said, what did he say? We are following these things as they happen. We're keeping up with this stuff. So when they bombed Al Shifa the first time, claimed credit for it, and then tried to deny it a second later, you were following that, and that wasn't international, like it wasn't a violation of international law. Okay, cool. Let's just give you Al Shifa. So what about the other 2 or 3 hospitals they bombed like 2 days later? That wasn't a violation of international law? Oh, killing not just the journalists, people, not just the journalists, but the families, targeting the families of top level journalists of Al Jazeera and other organizations. That isn't a violation of international law. I don't know what we're a laughing stock, the US, and these Zionists, these Protestant Christian Zionists, if you will. You look fucking ridiculous. You want to know why you're losing so many people on this narrative of Israel? Because you let Israel tell the dumbest lies, and then you get up there and look just as dumb. It's like being in an abusive relationship when, like, the abuser tells a dumb lie because he's a narcissist and he don't really know how to lie that well, because some narcissists are really talented liars. Other narcissists are so narcissistic they think that they're better at lying than they actually are, because they're the person that they're abusing all the time, emotionally and otherwise, is an idiot and allows them to get away with the lie. Either they're an idiot or they're just so in love or so damaged that they just let them get away with the lie. Then the abused end up telling a dumbass lie. And everybody looking like, I hope she don't think nobody believe that shit. Well, the narcissist agreed and said that it was a smart lie. So I told it. Now y'all both look like idiots. I'm tired of it, yo. And then you get motherfuckers like this dumbass Michael Rappaport, bro. He just gets on the internet every day and just makes a whole ass of himself. Y'all look at this. Amidst the 7 people dying, 7 volunteers dying, you know, Michael Rappaport, Mr. Free the hostages, but only the hostages that are being kept in Palestine. Because every time he's reminded about, because I've reminded him several times, hundreds of times probably at this point, yeah, no, there's thousands of Palestinians being held hostage without charge right now in Israel. And that once again started before October 7th. Whenever I remind him of this, he said, prove it. Motherfucker, what you mean? Y'all forgot the negotiations where they literally talked about, they literally released the prisoners, some of the hostages rather, during the hostage exchange. What the fuck you mean prove it? They brag about it. They boast about it because they call them terrorists and have them in charge with shit. But, you know, it's Michael Rappaport, right? This man said, are the hostages being fed? Okay. Are the hostages receiving any food from anyone? Are the hostages receiving medical attention? 180 days, then he just jumps. He just goes from here to fucking here. It says 180 days without food or medical attention from anyone. What? Hold up. That's not what happened. That's not what happened. What are you talking? So just to debunk that nonsense, my response was, are they receiving food? Are they receiving medical attention? Why don't you just read what the hostages themselves have already said? Lifshitz said she was initially grouped together with 25 other people before her captors separated her into a smaller group with 4 other individuals from her kibbutz. She said they slept on mattresses on the floor of the tunnels, ate the same food as Hamas fighters, and received regular treatment from doctors during her incarceration. If you remember that article, she goes even further. It says every elderly individual or somebody with a very specific ailment had a specific doctor that was assigned to them 24/7 to make sure that they were good. So the answer is, when they were able to be treated and fed, they were. In fact, they ate the same food as Hamas. And I guarantee you those prisoners, the Palestinian hostages who have not been charged with anything, they are not eating the same food as the Israelis who've held them captive. I can guarantee it. I think we all know that, right? Okay. But even still, let's just say that his point is somewhat true, which is not, but whatever. Let's just say that his point is somewhat true, right? My other response was, how are the hostages going to get food appropriately when Israel is blowing up convoys of people with the specific goal of preventing any aid from getting through? Please make it math, y'all. Make the math. Make it math. I'm confused. You're like, oh man, I'm concerned about the food that the hostages are or are not getting, or the sustenance that they are or are not getting, or the aid that they are or are not getting. Okay. So you're not mad at Israel? Right? If you were thinking logically and objectively, or better yet, if you actually gave a fuck about the hostages, better yet, if you actually cared, rather than using this tragedy to make money for yourself and resurrect your dead career. I don't know if you can call it resurrected. Was it ever really a career? Playing black, like acting like you're black until it's like, if y'all know Michael Rappaport's history, he always loved playing black until it's time to do some black shit and support black people. Then he's quick to be like, I can't fucking stand these thugs, these murderers, Blue Lives Matter. He's one of those motherfuckers. He's the scum of the earth. Like, and he's actually he's not even funny. So I don't know where that came from. But if he actually cared about these people, why didn't he calling out Israel? You don't even have to be like it was intentional. You can be like, y'all have a responsibility to be more careful, and y'all also have a responsibility to let this aid get through, because one, it's a violation of international law to disallow this, but two, we know that some of that aid, based off of the history and the facts that we have, we know that a lot of that aid is actually going to feed the prisoners. And also, can you stop bombing the prisoners? If you actually cared. Right? If he actually cared. But he doesn't. He doesn't give a fuck. None of them do. Sparky Thank you very much for the super chat. Admiral Kirby is already guaranteed a place in the Hell Hall of Fame, but continues to lie and mislead, apparently thinking that he'll get extra credit. Ain't that the goddamn truth? It seems that way, right? It seems that way. Man, let me see if I can find this other tweet from what's that cunt's name? Yeah, excuse my language. Hold on. Oh, is it Barry Wise? Yeah, it's Barry Wise. A horrific tragedy. Barry Wise described it as a horrific tragedy. That is a super weird way to describe a fucking terrorist attack, isn't it? I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Am I crazy? Y'all don't feel like that's a super weird way to describe a terrorist attack? Because whenever you have a specific goal of targeting innocent people without weapons in an attempt to prevent them from achieving a goal like donating food, donating medical supplies, or with the goal of disrupting operations of some kind, peaceful operations at that. That is normally what the international community and anybody with the goddamn brain would refer to as a terrorist attack. But for people like Barry Wise, it's just a terrible tragedy. Yeah, the tragedy is that it was a terrorist attack and y'all pretending like it was like, it was a misfire. So it was 3 misfires? It was not 1 misfire, not 2, but it was 3 misfires? Oh, come on, bro. 3 misfires? It was 3 misfires? Not 1 missile, not 2 missiles, but 3 missiles. It was a misfire 3 times on a pre-approved route with vehicles that were clearly marked as being part of the World Central Kitchen. Holy shit. These people are insane. It was 3 misfires. I just, the karma that's coming, y'all. The karma that's coming. I guarantee you Israel is not prepared for. It ain't just going, every single person who supported Israel, the universe is like bubbling. Like, y'all know when water starts boiling and it gets to a point where it's about to boil over. And it's like, damn, man, I let it sit for a while. Like, I'm surprised it hasn't boiled over yet. That's where we're at. We're at the, I'm surprised it hasn't boiled over yet. But when that shit does boil over, the karma that's coming for Israel, the universal karma that is coming for Israel, is going to be unprecedented. It's something we have never, like, damn, I did not think that it was going to go down like this. I've never seen anything like this in my life. It's going to be like that. It's going to be in our lifetime. And it might even be the next 2 to 3 years. Y'all already know my theory. My theory is, especially after what happened, and which we're going to get into in a second, especially after what happened this past week with the Iranian embassy, my theory is it's going to get on and popping. And I believe that's going to be Russia or Iran that launched the first strike against Israel. They appear weak to me. That's what these acts of desperation, that's weakness. You're desperate. You are terrified that you can't win this by legitimate means or traditional engagements of war. So you're doing shit like bombing an embassy to try to take out generals that you have yet to be able to take out or defeat regularly in battle. It's crazy how Israel and the U.S. has this weird habit of taking out Iranian generals who are known for fighting terrorists. It's super weird. It's almost like, even though they swear to God that that's their goal, is to fight terrorists, right? That's why they're in Syria, to fight terrorists. But they keep taking out the generals who are known for fighting them. Interesting. Right? But that's why you're desperate. That's why you do dumb shit like that. That's why you hit World Central Kitchen aid. That's why you're preventing aid from getting through at the Rafah border. That's why you're attacking journalists and their fucking family. That's why you banned Al Jazeera, which, by the way, Ben Shapiro had zero to talk about when when Israel banned Al Jazeera. But yesterday he was talking about Scotland doing, jailing people or censoring people for certain speech. Also, Texas did. They actually, I think it had they're putting on a ban for speech attacking Israel. So like, Bishop had nothing to say about that, but that's a different conversation. But yeah, they're desperate. That's what this all reads to me is desperate as hell. And I think it's going to be a reckoning coming sooner rather than later. Sparky, thank you very much for the super chat. My good man. Let's hope there's a Nuremberg trial for Netanyahu et al. Zionist congressmen and senators should be forced to watch and listen a la Clockwork Orange using the Ludovico technique. Ludovico technique? I'm not familiar with that. But, man, I'm at the point where I don't really give a damn about the Nuremberg. I don't want no Nuremberg trial. I want him gone. Like, however it got to be done. Whether the child is legitimate or illegitimate, I don't care anymore. Whoever need to be gone in whatever fashion they need to be taken away by jail or otherwise, it just needs to happen. I don't know, like, bro, it needs to happen. These people are fucking psychotic. They're like, yeah, man, let's go ahead and kill innocent people from, like, you know how much of y'all, they killed people from multiple countries intentionally, and those countries aren't doing anything about it. Which almost makes you think that those countries had to greenlight it. Which is probably why the U.S. is going out of their way to be like, no. There's no proof that it was intentional. No proof whatsoever. They have to. Because otherwise, because otherwise, if you don't say that, then you are then expected to respond accordingly to the fact that Israel just killed one of your citizens volunteering abroad in a war zone. Because we all know, right? If that was ISIS, that's the excuse they need, bro. Remember whenever 2 soldiers were killed or whenever Americans killed, if an American's killed abroad and they want to label, they were trying to attack a terrorist group or justify invading a country, it just takes one American getting killed, one American getting injured, one American getting bombed, just one. And that's all we needed. Bet we're on the way. And that was somebody who was intentionally there, in an effort to conduct some type of military operation a lot of the times. This was just a person volunteering with their dangerous armory of food. Yeah. It's crazy, y'all. It's crazy. Y'all make sure to like this video and share this video. We're going to talk about this Iran situation really quick because, once again, Israel's just been on some shit this week. So y'all know, at this point, Israel decided they were going to go ahead and bomb the Iranian embassy in Syria. And y'all probably also know that these dumbasses also came out and said, what? That wasn't our intention. We didn't mean to bomb the embassy. We meant to bomb next door. I don't know what they're like. If you didn't mean to bomb the embassy, y'all. I'm not joking. They've really said it. And we're going to talk about it. But if you didn't mean to bomb the embassy, what were you aiming for? What were you aiming for if you didn't mean to bomb the embassy? I'm genuinely like, cool. We all know they're lying, but what's crazy is the lack of excuse that follows when they lie. Like when they'll hit you with we ain't mean to bomb that convoy. Okay, so what did you mean to do? Well, it was unintentional is what I'm saying. Yeah, I know you just said that, but so why did you fire 3 rockets? No, what I'm saying is that we didn't do it on purpose. No, okay, that's cool. Then why? What happened? It was an accident. Motherfucker, you just said that. That's literally Israel. That's literally Israel, y'all. And they did it again. So now they got to face consequences. And now, like I just talked about in the last segment, it looks like the consequences are about to spill over more so into the entirety of the Western world because nobody is stupid. What Israel is doing, what they have been doing, has only been allowed because who allows it? the United States and the West. Now, conversely, this is also the case whenever Israel does something, whenever the United States does something, it's normally because Israel allows it or it benefits Israel. But in this particular case, Israel has been getting away with everything because the U.S. won't come out and call them out. Y'all remember, really quick before I get into this article, y'all remember what I said last week? Unfortunately, I said it's dope that the UN Security Council passed a resolution for a ceasefire during Ramadan. Y'all remember that? But I said the truth of the matter is the first question that I personally had that needed to be answered is why isn't there another resolution that was immediately passed to discuss the consequences for when Israel inevitably violates that ceasefire requirement? Inevitably. And guess what happened? They violated it. And shit, it didn't even take a day. It was the same day, if I'm not mistaken. Omar Grant, thank you for the super chat. The IDF general threatened all the regional nations with nuclear weapons recently. I mean, that wouldn't be the first time. I think they've been doing that since October 7th popped off, to be honest with you. Thank you very much for the chat. Look at this article from Reuters. Iran vows revenge on Israel after Damascus embassy attack. Iran said on Tuesday it would take revenge on Israel for an airstrike that killed 2 of its generals and 5 military advisors at its embassy compound in Damascus, Syria, raising the risk of further escalation in conflict in the Middle East. Raising the risk? No, what raising the risk is when you attack them. Like, the risk of escalation? Nah, dog. It needs to get escalated. I'm tired of it risking it. Whatever Iran decides to do, I'm about it. I support it 100%. I hope they respond tenfold. That's where I'm at with it. That's where I'm at. Once again, Israel needs some medicine. We're going to put it like that. We're just going to leave it like that, right? They need some medicine. The strike marked one of the most significant attacks yet on Iranian interests in Syria, where Israel has stepped up a long-running military campaign against Iranian groups it backs as the Gaza war has rippled around the Middle East. Until now, Iran has avoided directly entering the fray while supporting allies' attacks on Israel and U.S. targets. Israel has not claimed responsibility for, hold up, real quick. Just out of curiosity. This is until now, Iran has avoided. So there's an acknowledgement that allegedly Iran hasn't even directly engaged with Israel, but Israel yet and still decided to assassinate Iran's top general? Is that legal? I think that we all know the answer to that. No, it's not legal. It's not even logical, actually. It doesn't. Yeah, man, we suspect that they're supporting groups. And that might be true because Iran, I mean, they're basically the only force in the region that can genuinely hold its own while simultaneously helping others fight off the terrorists that the U.S. and Israel are paying, right? But so can Iran assassinate a U.S. top general? Oh, hell. Let's take it a step further. Would it be kosher? Would it be copacetic for Iran to assassinate the president of the U.S. for supporting terrorist organizations that directly attack Iran, even though it isn't the U.S. technically attacking them? Would that be okay? Because we know the U.S. supports the terrorist organizations. Would that be cool if that happened? I'm curious. Anyone who is supporting Israel or justifying what they've done, because they admit that it isn't even Iran that is directly engaging with Israel in the region. And they're like, yeah, man, but fuck that. We're going to bomb, assassinate. That's crazy. Israel does not claim responsibility for the attack, which destroyed a consular building adjacent to the main embassy complex in the upscale Meza district on Monday night, killing 7 members of Iran's Revolutionary Guards. Israel now is, I don't know if y'all know, but Israel now has come out and said that it was unintentional. I'm not joking. I'm so serious. Netanyahu, once again, unintentional, our bad. That's crazy, y'all. Now let's check out this general that this general who was accidental, because it's always unintentional. This general was accidentally attacked by Israel. That Israel supposedly didn't mean to attack or didn't attack. You know, the story changes every 2 days. Who was Mohammad Reza Zahidi, an Iranian general killed by Israel in Syria? Zahidi was the highest ranking Iranian military commander to be killed since Major General Qasem Soleimani died in the U.S. drone strike in 2020. Brigadier General, for those of you who do not know, if my military experience has not betrayed me, Brigadier General is a 1-star equivalent in the U.S. of a 1-star general. But it looks like his position would have been equivalent to a 3-star. But Brigadier is usually a 1-star here in the States. But Brigadier General Mohammad Reza Zahidi, a senior commander in Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, has been assassinated by Israel in Syria. He was killed with 6 other people, including another Iranian general, when Israeli warplanes fired multiple missiles. I'm sure that was an accident too, at the Iranian consulate in Damascus on Monday, leveling it. Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei said Tehran will make Israel regret the daylight attack on the diplomatic mission carried out as its war on Gaza rages. I'm not gonna go through all of that. You know, he had an illustrious military career, obviously, but the main point is how he was influenced in the region, or how he was a major influence in the region. He led operations in Syria and Lebanon, 2 countries where Iran's political, religious, and military influence has flourished in the decades since Islamic Revolution. So let's be clear about something. I need y'all to understand something. That's actually they try to loop in the religion situation, but Syria is secular. That's the whole problem. That obviously is probably a little bit more economic than it is, but it's because of what happens after a Middle Eastern country becomes secularized, that the U.S. and other countries in the region work together, including terrorists, to attack those countries. Iran's religious views has actually had zero impact on Syria. In fact, it's been the opposite. Syria has become more secularized over time. So it's bullshit, whatever. In that capacity, he was one of the top figures facilitating Iran's support for the government of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad as the Arab nation plunged into war that has lasted for more than a decade and has left al-Assad in power in a fractured country. He hasn't left al-Assad in power. They voted for him and they continue to vote for him. Whatever. Zahidi was the highest ranking Iranian military commander to have been killed since Major General Qasem Soleimani, head of the Quds force, who was assassinated by the United States in the drone strike in January 2020. So once again, we're left to believe that they coincidentally attacked Iran's top general, who specifically in this case was the top general whose expertise lied in his operations in Syria. As we know, by the way, Israel has been ramping up aggressions with as of late. Okay. And he also killed his advisors that also were experts in Syria. And they killed them in Damascus, Syria, in broad daylight. In broad daylight, they accidentally killed somebody else. This is the second time in broad daylight that they launched multiple missiles accidentally. Bro, how many times can you launch one missile? Misfire. 2 missiles? Shit, my bad. It was a delayed reaction. 3, 4, 5, 6. How many missiles can you launch before it is no longer considered a goddamn accident, y'all? What the hell? He is the man in Syria regarding all operations, fighting back terrorists, obviously, but also fighting back anybody that Israel supports, including my assumption would be Israel themselves. He's the number one guy in the region for this, just like Soleimani was when it came to Iraq and the region in general, but specifically Iraq. And they assassinated, well, the U.S. assassinated him. But like the guy who he's the main guy in Syria, and you could literally violate international law by bombing. First of all, you're not allowed to bomb anywhere near a goddamn consulate. That's a huge violation of international law. Even if they didn't assassinate him, it would have been a violation of international law regardless. But you bomb the guy, the number one guy, who's in charge of Syrian operations regarding Iran and their interests there in Syria in broad daylight with not one but multiple missile strikes. And they're like, yeah, man, it was unintentional, our bad. Bro, I'm so over this shit. I'm so over it. I'm so over it. Sparky, thank you very much for the super chat. Ludovico technique keeps the patient's eyelids open, forcing them to see truth about their evil. It was used by Alex DeLarge in the Stanley Kubrick dystopian classic A Clockwork Orange. Oh, wow. That's crazy. Also sounds like a very interesting technique that should be used for Benjamin Netanyahu. But the problem is, even if that technique was used and he was forced to see all of his evil, he was forced to admit all of his evil. I mean, this is a guy, Netanyahu, who actually had no problem admitting 95% of the evil shit that he does. Right? So I'm not even sure how effective that would be, what that would lead to. Other than, damn, this is another thing that that he admitted to. So once again, and by the way, Iran has vowed not only to take out its revenge on Israel, but also the West, because they know who's supporting this. So Israel spent basically the last several days inching us closer to World War III, and in my opinion, inching themselves closer to handicapping their existence. It's not looking good for them, yo. I don't know. Like, if you were a Zionist, if you were an Israeli, you gotta do something. If you really love Israel, like, you cannot like Palestine, you cannot like Palestinians, you cannot like Palestine, you cannot like Arabs, you cannot like Muslims. But at this point, none of that shit matters. If you want to exist in this world, like, y'all, do we forget what happened after World War II? When there was like an assumption, right? Like a belief within one group of people that were extremists that decided to blame one group for all their problems. And that was like not even justified. There was no social media. There was no TikTok. There wasn't even a long history of a very specific group being historically violent towards another specific group in that country. There was none of that. There was no Twitter to talk about. There was no primary sources to go back to. Like, there was no power structures, and at least not to the degree there are now, of a very specific group that is then able, like, you are part of this. You're defending these people that are conducting war or genocide, rather. Then you fire anybody. You have the power to fire or influence the outcome of the career of anybody who disagrees or agrees with you. Like, y'all forgot what happened in World War II? Because I have not. And like, that was totally unjustified. So like, how are your odds going to be helped now that there's one specific group of people that gets protected and another group and anybody else who criticizes them gets screwed? How do you think that's going to go over the next several years? I am genuinely curious. Yeah, Dr. Nick said it. He said people aren't even bothered by being called anti-Semitic anymore. Like, at least back in the day, people would pretend to be bothered by it. Right? They would be, hell, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, people would pretend to be bothered by it. Boy, you call them anti-Semitic now, they laugh at you like, yeah, whatever. Anyway, like I was saying, you fucking genocider. right? Like, yeah, they're not. Once that happens, that was it. You right now, there's only very few situations right now, like where you can get in trouble for what Zionists would have perceived as doing something anti-Semitic. Before, quick, in a hurry, you be gone. Now people are like, well, hold on, let's hear him out. Let's hear him out. I don't want to be too judgy. Eu não quero julgar demais. Like, you don't want to judge too much now. Let's hear what I got to say. That's where we're at now. So if the word anti-Semitic doesn't have any word, like any weight like it used to, we're out in this new phrase that they're trying to push. Blood libel. This is blood libel. If you don't shut your ass up and stop playing video games, that's some shit you would hear in an adventure game, like Halo or some shit, like blood libel. You would hear it over and over again. Like, bro, y'all just made that shit up 3 days ago. Stop. Nobody, nah, it ain't happening. Nobody, the hell's blood libel? That's blood. That don't work. Anti-Semitism doesn't work. The phrase blood libel doesn't work. In other words, people are desensitized to your historic struggle now. Anything that you've been able to use to tie to basically get people to ignore your past actions by tying whatever action you have to an historic struggle that everyone was at one point sympathetic or empathetic to, that's gone. It's no longer there. No one cares about you. Like, literally, it's getting to that point, people. People are hearing the Holocaust, like hearing the words Holocaust, and they're rolling their eyes now. They're like, yeah, all right, whatever, but this shit again. Do y'all know how crazy that is? Like, if somebody tweeted out, yeah, man, I want to go visit the Holocaust Museum today. Man, shut the fuck up. Nobody cares. That's where we're at. Bro, I've seen it on Twitter. People like they're like, yeah, man, just trying to, like, they're both sides of the situation, which is bad. Don't do that. But they're like trying to both sides of the situation in Gaza. You know, it's really unfortunate about what we've seen in Gaza, but also, I visited the Holocaust Museum today, and I just want to let everybody, man, everybody like, nigga, we don't care about your damn, like, that is where we're at. And whose fault is that? It isn't our fault. It's the fault of Israel and all the Zionists who have enabled it. Period. And all the people who have this, the word anti. And then, like, what's even crazy is, like, with this. So for this Candace Owens situation, for example, first of all, y'all managed to somehow get black people back on Candace Owens' side, which is, y'all know how that's really hard to do, guys. She was basically a DEI hire, ironically, for the Daily Wire. She was only brought on, to be frank, to bash black people. Nobody's a guy. We're not stupid. We know how the conservative community works, in the same way that the DEI hires for neoliberals are brought on to play victim and bash white people, regardless of the context, right? We're not stupid. But y'all somehow managed to try to come at her for saying Christ is king, and come out with people for saying Christ is king, like, oh, that's inherently anti-Semitic. Y'all, and by the way, I'm not a religious person, but I do believe in Jesus. I am a Christian in the strictest sense of, like, I try to live as Christ-like as possible. I try to not judge people. I try to help people out where I can. I judge the elites. I don't judge the people who are victims of the elite. But when a person of a particular religious background decides that they're going to be, don't ask me why my camera froze. Let's turn it off, see what happens. When a person of hold on, let me figure out what's going on with my camera. Oh, that's funny. Y'all want to know what happened with my camera? I said something that made Siri believe that it made Siri believe that I was calling her. That's literally what happened to my camera just now. Hold on, let me turn it back on. All right, we good. But when a person of a specific religion decides they want to say Christ is king, okay, that's their religion. That's what they believe. How is that anti-Semitic, y'all. And better yet, how do y'all have room to talk when y'all the same up? Let me apply my chapstick real quick. Y'all the same. Gotta pucker up my lips before I drop the thing out. Y'all the same motherfuckers who said, y'all the God's chosen people. And you saying Christ is king is somehow erasing you? But you're literally saying we're God's chosen people and we have every right to steal this land and commit this genocide because we're God's chosen people. You have zero problem with that, but someone acknowledging a truism about their religion, right? An ethos from their religion, that's anti-Semitic. Bro, that's crazy. Y'all are fucking insane, bro. You are insane if you believe that. You are like habitual self-victimizers. Like, I'm gonna go ahead and say what everybody probably has been thinking lately. All that shit that they would say about black people always try to play the victim. Sadio. Really? Syria again? Okay. I don't know what I keep saying that keeps making Syria think I'm calling her, but I'm not. All that shit they be saying about black people. Oh man, black people always try to play the victim. No, we're just acknowledging reality based off the numbers. Like, there's context regarding this. Like, it ain't like we're just making this shit up. Right? Later on today, my next stream, I'm gonna be talking about the Caitlin Clark, Angela Reese situation, the Candace Owens, Ben Shapiro situation. Like, we're gonna talk about the context of that. Like, no, it's not. Every time black people are mentioned, it's black people are trying to play victim. It's been these motherfuckers the whole time. We didn't make up a fake word. Change it, like, because you know what the anti means, but like, change it. They literally made up a fake word, changed the definition of Semitism for the fake word to hold any weight, and then went around throwing it at anybody who not even criticizing religion. Most of these motherfuckers aren't even practicing Jewish people. Netanyahu is a secular Jew. He doesn't celebrate the holidays. He's a secular Jew. But, they're not victims. Like, black people, for all intents and purposes, in the U.S., have literally had policies like the Fair Housing Act that was passed by FDR that literally targeted us. It was very clear, like, yeah, man, we don't like black people. Here's what we're going to do about it. Tulsa, Oklahoma, the first time the National Guard was used to bomb a community in the U.S., it was to bomb black people. Like, we're not playing victim, motherfucker. We are victims in a lot of cases. These people, and we don't hold any power or any institutional power to the extent where my network. See, what happens is you don't really have power unless your network says you have power. In other words, I can be a black CEO, right? But you could be a DEI hire black CEO. That happens all the time. You can just be the scapegoat. That's a thing. Because if my network does not give me the institutional power to change things positively for black people or other minorities, it doesn't matter. Like, not just aesthetically, I mean, actually reform the structure of power within the organization and make it equitable. And by equitable, I mean create equitable opportunity for success, disallow the company to make scapegoats out of people who are not part of the good old boys club. Like, that is what I mean. There might be a person sprinkled here, another person sprinkled there. That's not real power. That's the Obama effect. That's we put a black person in the White House, therefore racism is eliminated. Yeah, no, that's not how it works. But what it is when I'm a Zionist, and I'm part of a company, and my friend's a Zionist, is also part of the company. She's a Zionist, in charge of, she's the hiring manager for the company. He's a Zionist, payroll, Zionist, recruiting agent, and they're all friends with the Zionists from the other company. So in case I want to leave this company and I need another job, I can go there and I'm like, hey man, and if I want to pass policies or if I want to call somebody out for disrespecting me because of, anti-Semitism, I can then be like, hey man, all my friends, that person right there, he's anti-Semitic. Why? He told me that I'm a sick asshole for beating my wife and child just because they criticize the fact that I support genocide in Israel. Right? He's so anti-Semitic. Fire him. That's what happens. These Zionists will consolidate power, then turn themselves into victim to justify the fucked up way they use their power. To ironically justify the fucked up shit they do. Like, oh man, you don't like the fact that like with Ben Shapiro, people calling out his hypocrisy, right? With Candace Owens. Making the rounds talking about this issue that he doesn't want to talk about. Like everybody's like, yo, man, you don't have to like Candace to be like, bro, you're a hypocrite. Well, legally, nobody gives a shit about that. Well, then you're an anti-Semite. What? Hold up. What? How? Because you said Christ King, right? Look, man, it's crazy out there. Y'all make sure to like this video and share this video. I'm about to go ahead and get up out of here. Got daddy duties to take care of. I appreciate y'all stopping by though. I am subscribe if you are here on YouTube. Follow if you are on Twitter. Go to follow us on Hotspot on Twitter too. If you have not yet, follow us on Rockfin. You can support the show by becoming a member on Patreon, becoming a premium member on Rockfin, donating through Cash App. All that stuff is in the description. Sorry I haven't activated my memberships for YouTube yet. I'm gonna get to it, y'all. It's a lot, bro. Newborn baby stuff is a lot. It's a lot. But like I said, I appreciate you all stopping by. Like this video, share this video, and always remember more than anything else, find your balance. Peace.